making my signature chocolate chip blondies with chocolate ganache on the top. The trick is, the hardest thing about this is making the ganache vegan, because they always want you to use heavy cream and ganache. But I'm going to use a coconut milk base instead of the heavy cream.
So today I will be making a cheesecake brownie with raspberry swirl. I have never made this before, so hopefully it turns out well. I have melted my chocolate with butter, and I added some sugar. And now I'm going to add in my eggs. You have to be really careful because this mixture is really hot from melting it in the microwave. And I don't want them to curdle or to scramble. So you have to add it in and then whisk it really quickly.
I'm making mint fudge brownies. I've made fudge before, and I've made brownies before. I've never made them together. I've also never made mint fudge before. I've eaten a lot of mint fudge though, and a lot of brownies. So you could say I'm pretty experienced. I'm not really pressed about making it out of the bottom two. The cool thing about doing this in quarantine is that even if I get kicked off the show, you can't stop me from being a judge.
I'm gonna make caramel fudge brownies with marshmallow cream. I was thinking originally of doing a Rocky Road brownie, which would be marshmallow and a lot of chocolate and some nuts in it. But then listening to everyone else about their brownies, I thought perhaps someone else was going to do that, so I changed my mind again. And then I realized no one was doing that, so I went back to this one. The part of mine I think is going to be making a vegan caramel sauce, which I obviously have never made before.
The salt problem, I got a little bit too much in the teaspoon. I was trying to use, I couldn't find a half teaspoon, so I was using a regular teaspoon. And I filled it up to the top, but I adjusted, I got it taken care of. Disaster averted. It's just one of those little things that happens while you're baking.
Holy crap, I'm weak. Okay. Okay, that should be good.
So I'm mixing together all the ingredients that I need for the brownie base, because I'm going to be baking that before I add on the fudge and everything else.
The one thing that I like to do though is, that they don't tell you to do, is I actually like to, when I'm mixing these things, I used to like to use a fork to make sure I get all the lumps out of the dry ingredients before I put them in. I mean, it was a close race last week though, to be honest. I mean, I won by a hair. All the bakers here are really good, really talented, and very creative. I think I had a little bit of advantage with chocolate cake, honestly. You know, just that it's a very traditional cake, a very traditional taste, one that people are used to. So
now I'm adding my melted chocolate and butter into my whipped egg, sugar, and vanilla. I'm going to try to gently stir it in. For this, I'm using a semi-sweet melted chocolate. I think the sweetness of the caramel sauce and the sweetness of the marshmallow cream will more than make up for the fact that I'm not using a milk chocolate. In fact, using the semi-sweet might actually help keep it from being so sickeningly sweet that you don't even want to eat it.
Now, instead of adding flour, I'm gonna be adding cornstarch because, okay, that went in my face. Because it adds, it makes the brownie more chewy opposed to like cakey.
it's called the rocking technique. I just rock it over the top. Get them all cut, but you don't get them finely cut.
I'm just gonna use the handheld mixer to beat my cream cheese. I only like to use one tip opposed to two because I feel like it kind of gives me more control in the bowl.
Baking the brownie base. It's gonna take a while, so during that time I'll make the fudge and the chocolate topping. And those will be ready to go on the brownies when the brownies come out.
I put in half my brownie dough, and now I'm going to put in the other half.
I was gonna leave it in a lump like that. I'm sure it'll just fix itself while it goes while it bakes. Just kidding.
I'm just pouring the batter into the pan, and then I'm gonna spread my cream cheese layer on top of that.
You use coconut milk, cane sugar or brown sugar, and a little bit of salt because I'm going to make it a salty caramel. That again might help offset some of the sweetness.
So now I have my brownie layer and my cream cheese layer in, and now I'm just gonna take raspberry jam and dollop, and then I'm gonna use a toothpick and swirl it. I just take a toothpick. Nope, this might not work.
I have to wait for a little bit till it cools down so I can make my chocolate ganache. Pour my chocolate ganache on. I don't want it to go on when it's too hot, when the cake's too hot, because I think it'll just like kind of. I want it to stay on top. I want it to create like a layer on top. So I'm gonna wait for another like 10 minutes till I make my ganache.
So now I am taking off all of my dollops, and I'm gonna pop it in the microwave for a little bit. Hopefully that will make the viscosity of it a little bit better and easier to swirl. If not, then I don't know what we're gonna do. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait just a little bit, but I think this will work. Okay, so I melted this raspberry jam in the microwave, so now I'm just gonna pour it in. Now I'm just taking
350 for approximately 28 minutes.
Not done. Not done.
And then I've got pecans roasting. Any baker knows that you gotta roast your nuts before you put them in your cake. It brings the flavor out, it makes it more aromatic. And honestly, I thought it was complete BS until I did it. I just did it, and like the smell, the flavor is just way better with them roasted, just slightly roasted. It just took 3 or 4 minutes under the broiler, and it's a world of difference.
So my brownies are in the oven right now, and I thought just to maybe elevate it a little bit more, I'm gonna make a whipped cream. I thought cheesecake brownies, whipped cream goes with cheesecake, why not? I am using coconut milk because it has to be non-dairy. I have never done this before, so I have no idea if it's gonna work out.
My caramel sauce, and you can see now it's got a really nice coating on the spoon. So I'm taking it off the heat. It has to cool in room temperature for 10 minutes, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator. And then I'm gonna poke holes in my brownies and pour it in.
I haven't made the chocolate layer yet, although I'm thinking about omitting that part. I'm gonna wait and see how the fudge sets, and if I think that's enough, then I'll probably just not add the final layer, because it's already, this is already a lot, and I'm not trying to make something super rich.
So update, my whipped cream from the coconut milk did not work out. So I think what I'm gonna try to do, because it really should be chilled and this was not that cool, I think I'm gonna stick it in the fridge, and then maybe when it gets closer to the 2-hour mark, I will try it again. My backup plan now, since that didn't really work out, I think I'm gonna try to do a graham cracker crumble. So yeah, I think we're gonna give that a go. Who knows?
And I am using a coconut cream to make my ganache. Basically boil the coconut cream, and then you pour it into a bowl with the chocolate chips. Let it sit for a few minutes, it'll melt the chocolate chips. Voila, ganache. The chocolate chips is starting to melt.
Now it's time to add my caramel. And I'm going to poke some holes, so hopefully it'll go down through into all of the brownies, and then I'm gonna drizzle some on top as well.
I am just gonna break some graham crackers, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar and melted butter.
So I think I should let my ganache set before I put the cons on the top. Let's let that happen.
Put a channel on top. And then use the skewer to sort of give it a hole to go down into.
Round 2 with this coconut milk whipped cream, because I just took it out of the freezer. Let's give it a shot. I think the whipped cream actually worked out this time. It definitely has that whipped cream consistency.
They feel very soft inside. My guess is I have to give the marshmallow time to reharden after it's been melted during the baking process. So I'm gonna let them stay in the pan for at least an hour.
2.5 minutes left. I want it to set as much as possible, so I'm gonna wait till the very last minute. Face of panic. Oh, no. maybe a minute wasn't enough.
But yeah, that's it.
What I've made for you ladies today is a pecan chocolate chip blondie with a chocolate ganache on the top and a roasted pecan topping.
I get the pecans coming through really well. I get the chocolate ganache. I can taste each of the layers of flavor.
Yeah.
It's it feels a little tough on the bottom to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, wonderful flavor.
I think maybe if you put the blondie, like when you put it in the oven, if you put it on the top rack, maybe instead of the middle, that would have helped the bottom not become so hard.
Got it.
But I do think the chocolate complements the blondie nicely, and I'm very glad that you toasted your nuts on top. I can taste it. It makes a difference.
It does make a difference. You're absolutely right, Chef Allie.
The chocolate's a little bit sweet because that brownie is so rich.
Yeah.
Blondies are, to me, one of the richer brownies to eat, so.
Okay.
But really good. Very excellent. Okay guys, for you today I am presenting my chocolate marshmallow caramel brownie. And here it is for you to taste.
There's no doubt that marshmallow fluff is a treat to the world. I mean, that marshmallow fluff with anything is really good, but marshmallow fluff with chocolate takes things to the next level. I'm not sure if the brownie is cooked enough.
I don't think it's cooked all the way.
Yep. You
can kind of see that there. I mean, that's how I like my brownies.
Me too.
But
I was gonna say the same thing.
And this is a corner piece too, so I can't imagine how the actual center of the whole pan of brownie would be.
It's very rich, but the flavors combine really well. The caramel, some caramel you basically just taste only sugar and you don't really get the caramel flavor, and I feel like it comes out really well in this brownie. Today I have made for you all a brownie with a pretty thin mint fudge layer on top.
What's that made out of?
That's made of a peppermint extract, powdered sugar, and butter. I didn't want to dye it green though. I think it's tacky when mint things are dyed green.
Surprisingly, I like it because I'm not a mint fan. The brownie is pretty dense, in my opinion. It's more, it borderlines the cake brownie line, but still good.
I agree. It's almost more cake-ish, a little bit. But I do like the mint. I was worried with the peppermint extract that it was going to be too like medicine-y, but it's you used a good amount, and that's really hard to do.
Yeah, I think there's a good balance of the mint fudge topping to the brownie.
How do you feel about the choice of the green versus the white frosting?
I like that you kept it white and minimalistic. However, I wish you kind of had some more decorations on it, you know, maybe chocolate chips or sprinkles.
But overall, good.
Enjoyable.
Very nice.
Today I made a chocolate fudge brownie with a cheesecake raspberry swirl on top, as well as graham cracker crumble and a coconut milk whipped cream on top.
That's all? I mean, it was kind of layers. I got the whipped cream first. I think the graham crackers just added a little bit of crunch. Not necessarily a lot of flavor, but just a little bit of crunch. And then the raspberry was just like really, really intense at the end for me.
Definitely a journey, this one.
I like the deep chocolate of the brownie, but it's almost in a way fudge-like. But it is a good, dark, rich chocolate.
Yep.
Really good, dark, rich chocolate.
We're gonna begin with the caramel brownie with marshmallow fluff. I quite like this. I like how there's the marshmallow fluff is light and fluffy, but then you also have the very dense brownie. Agreed.
It is joyful but serious. It comes to play.
A pecan blondie with chocolate ganache. Oh, that pecan. The pecan really comes through.
Texture and density is excellent. I think you could build a small house out of a series of these. It's that good.
Chocolate mint. How do you feel about that, Scout? Oh yeah, look at that tail wag.
It is quite nice. I love this flavor. It's not too strong, but it's still what you want. The brownie is quite fluffy though, and more of a cakey type of brownie. Yeah.
This is regal in appearance and in taste. The sparkly nature of the mint frosting is transcendent.
I love raspberry cheesecake, so I'm dying to get to this last one.
I really like this, the coconut whipped cream with it. I think it adds a nice balance to the sweetness.
I love raspberry and chocolate.
I think raspberry and chocolate is sometimes undervalued, and this goes above and beyond. You taste raspberry right away. You taste the very rich chocolate part, and you taste the graham cracker crumble. But I didn't really get any cheesecake flavor. All right, I'm going to give some marks.